This is an unprecedented threat. It's fast growing. We're arresting and convicting. We just need to get the message out there and protect the public.
And even these ones here.
A sadistic and violent global network.
It's mostly children committing crimes against other children.
And among the worst, most depraved crimes imaginable.
Animal abuse and torture, child sexual abuse material, but also racist and occultist material.
Online gangs targeting mostly vulnerable girls.
She's still suffering some level of trauma from it.
Even infiltrating internet support groups.
He says she would be nothing but a mere soulless body once you're done with it. She will have given up.
Part of an emerging network Sky News has seen openly operating on social media.
It's not on the dark web, this is a clear open source threat.
A fast-growing threat the National Crime Agency is now prioritising.
It's a homegrown threat in our country and in other English-speaking countries, so that makes it significant.
The threat is known as the comm.
The comm is a group, a network of networks.
One part promotes terrorism.
Different types of groups and different ideologies.
Another, child sextortion.
Some of the ones that we're seeing have 15, 16 victims under them.
Others, cybercrime.
This group would find ways to get their personal details.
But all of them connected, and most of them boys.
It's a way of having power over people when perhaps you don't have that in real life.
This is the police department. How can I help you?
Sky News has been given exclusive access to the National Crime Agency's investigations into the comm.
You have your parents locked up in the laundry room?
And what we're hearing is a well-rehearsed tactic by part of it.
Possible double shooting.
Fake calls to police in the US from all over the world.
They think that they shot their parents.
To terrorise young girls they control.
I'm trying to get someone who can call. I only know a few people that will actually call for me.
This British voice we've distorted is heard encouraging what's known as swatting.
They make a false claim to law enforcement with the aim of getting armed police to turn up at that victim's house. This was recorded by the suspect on his own computer. He's on Discord and he's talking to other members of the group, and between them they're all wanting to target a young female in the USA who's refused to go along with their demands to take her clothes off on camera.
And this was a UK offender to a US?
Yes, a UK-based offender from his bedroom doing this, which resulted in police being sent to a young girl's house in America.
Male screamed the address and hung up.
Was that you? Someone called them, screamed the address, and then just cut the phone. That's what they just said.
A way among many of manipulating victims.
The final thing was asking for nude pictures, and he'd also sent pictures to her and the self-harm as well.
Doing it to themselves?
Yeah.
Sally, whose name we've changed, found pictures on her daughter's phone.
So she was 11 years old into 12 because it was a whole year they were talking.
She'd met a boy on the gaming platform Roblox who'd then asked her to chat privately on messaging app Discord. Over time, things escalated.
I'm thinking that my daughter's safe in her bedroom and she's gaming. This is the kind of crimes that you would think happen on the streets.
Sally's daughter is a suspected victim of the comm. The police have been informed.
There wasn't any self-harm or anything in the beginning, and there was a lot of fantasy talk, and it was very like a game in a way, and it was like they were living in a fantasy life through the conversation.
She still doesn't really want to talk about it, so I know she's still suffering some level of trauma from it and a lot of shame.
The big dots here are the groups, and then each of the lines is a member between different groups.
Jordan's an open-source intelligence investigator looking into the network.
So some of them are like, they're happy to kill a cat, but they're not happy for someone to be extorting someone. So they have different dynamics.
And he's witnessed one of the darkest methods they use, infiltrating self-help groups online for eating disorders and self-harm.
Members of comm groups will look for people who are suffering through mental health disorders, eating disorders, self-harm, to try and recruit them into being able to make content for them. So that can be anything from cutting themselves with like brandishing certain names, and they will recruit from places like online and forums.
And while we look, we come across something.
Already, this is looking suspicious anyway. Asking, is the person the chat participants are talking about part of comm? Asking about the age of the participant, asking if they've ever cut for this person.
And then by chance, in a different comm group.
Oh. That's the guy from the other one.
guy.
It's the same one in this group
Yeah.
as in the self-harm group.
This shows at least he's involved in comm. To see him also in the other group that we were looking at, which was on the outskirts, which is where it's like
self-harm.
The self-harm group, is interesting because he's going to be one of these people, like when I showed you on the graph, the links between comm and these other groups. He's one of those links.
Which is in itself very suspicious.
Which is suspicious in itself.
So this is another example of a UK offender extorting and blackmailing one of their victims.
And for an insight into these groups, a National Crime Agency investigator.
The victim's 11.
Yeah, so the victim's 11 and the offender's saying that they're going to pretend that she isn't 11. It says you have like 5 e-girls already. So that's mentioned e-girls. So these are another term for victims, those that are, if you like, under the offender. Controlled by the offender. So offenders will have multiple victims.
It's the imbalance of power within this one chat.
It is, and people will place claim and they will say you can have her for, or you can have them for X amount of money.
Most of the offenders are boys between 11 and 18 years old, often using gaming platforms like Roblox and Discord to lure young girls into private conversations.
Young males under the age of 18 that have a substantive online presence on both social media and gaming platforms, but will have no real social life. And they also follow some different areas as well, so you'll see some sharing extreme materials around the incel ideology, animal abuse and torture, child sexual abuse material, but also racist and occultist material.
And in their groups, they collaborate, even compete to cause harm.
One of the suspects, he admitted that he would get very angry, and he sort of said he wouldn't ever go and start a physical fight with someone, but he can go online, and that's what his strength is, and he can use his online skills to hurt people without ever having to leave his bedroom.
Keeley then shows us this disturbing post giving public tips on how to target and coerce.
So in this particular comm group, in this case there was a clear leader of this group, and he posted a blog post online basically coaching others to do what he did. He says she would be nothing but a mere soulless body once you're done with it. She will have given up.
He's talking about children here.
Yeah, young girls. That's who he's targeting.
What's it like for you doing this every day?
This is the worst one I've dealt with. I definitely have dreams about it. I've had a lot of dreams about it. For me, it was actually worse reading chats between people because you can imagine what's going on rather than seeing, and sometimes that was worse.
Sky News has seen the comm network openly operating on social media. Content sent between users, among them disturbing images of self-harm we're not showing. These are messages that we have found from live and active comm groups, either openly discussing their methods or sharing explicit material. This one talking about going on Roblox and forcing women to give us their Discord so that we can blackmail with their nudes. And this one advertises a video of a victim self-harming. But there were also a lot of groups and channels which had been deleted. What we're seeing here is this network adapting by creating and signposting to other servers and chats. As soon as it's shut down, it just pops up elsewhere.
That's it. Insult your fingers.
But arrests are being made and offenders convicted in the UK.
This one down. You got anything on you shouldn't have?
Cameron Finnegan was jailed for offences relating to the comm, possessing a terror manual, indecent images of a child and encouraging suicide.
The only risk I was concerned about is if she went through with it and I got caught.
So you're concerned about, the only thing you're concerned about is if she went through with it and you got caught, not about whether she was dead or not.
I don't think about stuff in that moment. It's just stupid I say without thinking.
I'm going to explain to you why we've arrested you, okay?
Yeah.
So, in January of this year,
We believe that you shared indecent images of under 18s.
Another member of the comm also convicted last month, Richard Ahaimir, for making indecent images of children.
We can promptly and effectively investigate.
The longer they go on operating in this sort of way, the more likely it is we will catch up with them. The internet has a long memory, and so do we.
The National Crime Agency has seen a six-fold rise in reports of comm-related crime in the last 2 years, and it's now a priority.
It's just like in the physical world, we would recognise that there are parts of a city that you wouldn't let your children wander through at night. And so there are a mixture of obligations on, building owners, the police force, the local council, and you as a parent, and perhaps the school. So on the online world, we need to be understanding what our sort of responsibilities and obligations are, and all playing our part together.
Would you say then you are satisfied with everything that these online platforms are doing to remove the comm content and really do their bit on this?
No, I think they do need to be doing more. To be honest, there's a mixture of different companies that have a very different attitude to social responsibility in this place, for starters. And then even the ones that are doing some of the best, I think, can look harder at the nature of the ecosystems that they are enabling.
Telegram, Discord and Roblox all say they have dedicated teams proactively detecting, removing and banning comm groups and content. Telegram said millions of pieces of harmful material are removed daily, and they've continually monitored so groups cannot re-emerge. Discord said the group's horrific actions have no place on Discord or in society. They collaborate closely with law enforcement and will continue working relentlessly to tackle it. Roblox said as well as proactively removing content, they're also engaging with law enforcement worldwide, and its efforts have been recognised officially to combat extremism. Not just here in the UK, this is a global challenge, with the FBI and Europol both issuing alerts.
It's a way of having power over people when perhaps you don't have that in real life.
But to truly tackle this growing threat, it must be understood.
That's what's really worrying about games. It's just access to your home, which makes it feel like your children are out on the streets with strangers.
To reconnect those most vulnerable to society.
I think the really key message is to try to have meaningful conversations with your children. The risk is that we somehow think of time spent online as being safe time. It's within the house, but it really isn't necessarily safe at all.
Adele Robinson, Sky News.